known as $2 Tuesdays at WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo.com, where you can get the hottest handicappers' best bet or daily package for only $2.
Hey guys, welcome to another edition of Stoppage Time. Carmine Bianco here, WagerTalk.com. We are going to look at some Champions League, Europa League, and Europa League conference games that go this week. It is a busy schedule in semifinal action, League One, and some really good matchups. With me from WagerTalk.com, it's Kevin Dolan and Nick Borrman, and from SportsMemo, Pavlos Laguretos. Let's bring the boys in, guys. Some huge semifinal matches going in the first one today. Real Madrid and Man City going. Kev, what's going on, man? How was your weekend? How are things in general?
Yeah, all good, Carmine. Tipping along nicely right now. We won 11 of 14 days, I believe, heading into the weekend. Didn't have a great Saturday, to be fair. Not helped by Tyson Fury scoring that uppercut as well on Dillian White, but bounced back with back-to-back winning nights over the last 2 days, Sunday and Monday. So pretty happy with how everything's going right now, and obviously looking forward to continuing that into this week as well.
Yeah, you know what? Speaking of that fight, I literally got the time completely mashed up on that one. I went to log into one of my service providers to watch the fight, and I saw it was already trending that the fight was over on Twitter. So it's tough actually watching the fight after the fact when you already know what the result was. But I did watch pretty much the highlights of it, which was there weren't much highlights of it, as you said. Yeah. Nick, what's going on, man? Soccer's been good to you.
Yeah, been on a fantastic soccer run over the last week, 19-3. MLS is just chugging along right now. I seem to be finding a way to get profitable every single weekend, so hopefully I don't jinx myself going forward. But yeah, things are rolling great on the soccer pitch. 1 month left in the season, so hopefully we can wrap up that European season just as well as we got going on right now. And of course, we got golf every week, which my invitation's still open for Kevin to come on over and tee it up with me.
The invitation is always open for you boys to come to the Great White North. Maybe in 2026, the World Cup will be hosted in Mexico, USA, and Canada. And here in Toronto, I'm just north of Toronto, but here in Toronto, we'll be hosting some group stage games, and in our home field at BMO Field, I think obviously they got to do some renos on it. Even though it is a new stadium, you need at least 45,000 fans or seating for 45,000 fans, but they will make those changes. I'm sure they're going to spend a ton of money here in Toronto to host this tournament. But let's bring in Pavlos. Pavlos, our borders are open to you all the time.
Yeah, I'd be glad to make the overseas trip. Maybe, at the end of this year, we'll be there to cover the World Cup. Hopefully, yes, it's one of my plans. Unless something weird happens again, I'm probably gonna be there. But yeah, I'm also coming off a nice weekend, plus 8 units. Most of my best bets were winners last week, 5-1. Doing a great job in the La Liga. I'm looking forward to actually have a big play in the La Liga up for Friday, but we'll talk about this later on the show. Yeah, things are looking really great in this end of the season. We find little bits of value, especially in leagues that I personally deal a lot with, especially in the La Liga and the Bundesliga. So I'm focusing mostly on those two leagues because they have been by far the most profitable for me this season. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of big plays from those two leagues. But first, before that happens, we have to talk some Champions League and Europa League, which is also very exciting.
Definitely do. And we're going to jump right into it with this Man City and Real Madrid game. And then after we're done that, I'm going to give you guys a great show promo to get every single tournament game left in the three competitions, both the Champions League, Europa League, and the Europa Conference League. So get your pens out to write down this coupon code. It is a good one. But let's look at this one: City and Real Madrid, leg one of the semifinals. The odds on this one are up on the screen. Man City minus 223 at home. The draw is plus 375. Real Madrid, excuse me, plus 550. And listen, I'm gonna go first on this one. Let me start by saying I have a little bias when we're looking at this game on who makes the finals, and that's because I'm holding a ticket on Real Madrid at 18-1 and another ticket on Real Madrid at 33-1 that I took after they lost that round of 16 game in Paris, 1-0 to PSG. I hopped on them at 33-1 as well too. So there's a little bit of bias with this, but when I'm looking at this, I'm trying to determine which Real Madrid team is going to show up today on Tuesday to face Man City. Is it going to be the one that went to PSG and played a much more defensive game? They registered 0 shots on goal. They had 3 attempts on goal, and they were looking to basically play a defensive masterclass, get it back to Spain with a manageable result. And it was only a late 94th minute and final minute goal that dealt them a 1-0 loss. Or is this the team that went in leg one in the last round to Chelsea and played a much more offensive game, winning 3-1, 8 attempts on goal, 5 actual shots, scoring on 3 of them? I tend to think it's going to be a mix of the two. You know what I mean? You look at City, and while they were impressive in the last round, they only won that 2-leg tie 1-0 on aggregate. Atletico played a much defensive game in leg one and in leg two. But at the end of the day, I'm trying to figure out which Real Madrid team shows up, and I'm not sure it's going to be the second one, but more so the first, as they look to get a result heading home. I'm looking at the total here, and I'm looking at the under. Right now, the total in this is 2.75, which is a split line of 2.5 and 3. You can buy that up and take the alternate line of 3, minus 130, minus 140 on the VIG. I don't see more than 3 goals in this game. I don't even see 3 goals in this game. So I am going to lean under in this game and look for a tight defensive game, one with City having much of the possession. Those are my thoughts. Let's go to Kevin for his.
Carmine, you need your own future show, man, because I remember you giving out, what was it, Croatia 40-1 back in the World Cup in 2018. We had Chelsea last year 16-1, 33-1 this year in Madrid. So those are some massive tickets. But this one, it's interesting. I'm going to slightly disagree with you on this one myself. I think we see 3 goals, possibly more, but it is an interesting game. Kind of like we knew in the last round against Chelsea as well, that, while Madrid, they're not the force they once were. But this competitions are so focused right now, and that's helped them immensely. They're 15 points clear at the top of La Liga. They have little to play for domestically, obviously. So all that extra focus is being prepped for this competition, and it's allowed them to polish off, consistently better teams in my eyes over the last few rounds. We know PSG at this stage, so that almost wasn't a surprise. Not even Messi can save this team from having utter meltdowns in huge games, it seems. So, that wasn't a complete and utter shock, what we saw in that tie. Knowing what we know about PSG's history in this competition. Similarly, Chelsea in the last round, Chelsea are a better team than Real Madrid, in my opinion, again. But, they got sanctions going on in the UK, as we mentioned. The Chelsea owner in a bit of trouble. The club's under massive restrictions. Lukaku wants out. A lot of players seem to have one eye on the door to that club as well. So, they weren't at their best either heading into that game against Madrid. And Madrid were able to capitalise yet again, obviously in leg 2, not without some effort, it must be said. So, Madrid have slightly benefited from, a little fortune in my eyes in terms of playing teams at seemingly the best time. But, you can't deny they're taking care of business and they're getting the job done as a result. What makes this tie so interesting in my eyes, again, is that, just like the other 2 teams we mentioned, Manchester City are the far superior team in this tie. arguably the best team in Europe right now. And, you would imagine that have more than enough to dispose of Real Madrid over 2 legs. But, like Chelsea in the last round, they just seem a little distracted right now, for different reasons. And that's a very dangerous mindset for them to have here, facing such a focused Real Madrid side who, are in such red hot form right now. City got beat by Liverpool in the FA Cup semi-final 10 days ago. We saw how that affected them last year as well when Chelsea knocked them out at the exact same stage of the competition as well. Seemed to rattle City. They then went on to lose that Champions League final a month later against Chelsea. So, obviously that was good seeing as we had that 16-1 ticket. And, to me, that's Pep all over in these kind of competitions. That's who he is. He tends to overanalyze if things aren't going well. He doubles down on formations and tactics when the pressure gets ratcheted up. And, he's guilty. He's done it in the past of over-tinkering with the squad. So, you could see that frustration come out both with him and the fans in last week's home game against Brighton. Don't let the final score fool you in that one. That game was 0-0 at half-time. City looked shook. This was the game immediately after the FA Cup semi-final, which they lost. They looked really sloppy in possession that first half. Must-win game for them as well. As they all are right now. And you could visibly, you could feel the tension in the stadium, even on the TV screen, build inside the Etihad. They needed that deflection to get the first goal. So, Ancelotti will no doubt be looking at that game. You can forget about the Watford game because Watford are trash, let's face facts. And that could be an area for Ancelotti to target here. Look to just frustrate City in their own home ground, use that home pressure to his own advantage, and let the City fans, do 20% of his own job for him. If you can pick up Madrid plus 1.25 here, I'd be more than happy taking that. But I do believe we see goals in this one. While Madrid have sat off teams in the past on the road, like we saw against PSG in that first game over in Paris, they're so adept now at hitting teams on the break. Benzema is so dangerous. So, Madrid have scored 2.75 goals per game across the last 4 Champions League away matches. They've kept just 1 clean sheet over the last 5 games as well away from home. So, I think this will be an entertaining game. I expect it to be reasonably close as well. And I just think Liverpool are starting to get to Pep right now. I think he's looking a little bit shook. His nerves are getting rattled. And I wish I took a piece of that 3,000-1 back at the start of the season for that quadruple because I could definitely see that happening. But yeah, Madrid plus 1.25, the over 2.75 goals, both teams to score at minus 120. I like all of those for this game.
Well, you're reaching there, and I don't mean reaching as, but I mean reaching in the sense of you got quite a few bets there. I'd be happy with a 2-0 City win, which gives me my under. And actually, you want the Madrid plus 1.25. So 1-0 City gets us both there on our main stuff. But that's Kevin Dolan of WagerTalk.com. Kev has a 5% play up on Thursday in Europa League action. Now, here's a great deal, guys. That play is normally $35, but you can get every single UEFA play that is left, every semifinal play, every finals play for only $69 by using coupon code UEFA 69. There are 9 match days left in this competition. 3 leg ones, 3 leg twos, and then the 3 finals. So you're basically getting this deal every single play for $8 a day or less than $8 a day. It's a great deal. Use UEFA 69 at checkout. Head over to your favorite cappers play in the soccer drop-down menu. You will see UEFA knockout stage package, $99. Enter that code and that'll get you $30 off, guys. It's a great deal. All right, let's head to the second game. This one is being played on Wednesday at Anfield. Liverpool and Villarreal, another England versus Spain game here. Let's have a look at the numbers on this one. Liverpool, a big minus 350 at home. The draw is plus 450. Villarreal, plus 900. Nick, I'm going to go to you first on this one, and I'm just going to say, I don't think this, as much as I like Liverpool, I don't think anyone can take this Villarreal team lightly. I think in the last, knocking off Juve was one thing. That was a pretty even one, but knocking off Bayern Munich in the last round. I'm not sure if Munich took them lightly, but Villarreal played those two games to a T. Great defensive performance by that team. And when you get a defensive team that is playing well, Liverpool remembers Atletico Madrid, I think it was 2 years back. So can we see another Spanish team go to Anfield and pull off a shocker?
Unai Emery, man. I mean, there's not many managers out there that play or know how to play knockout football better than he does to get his players ready. So yeah, you're right. Villarreal are definitely dangerous here. You still obviously have to give the edge to Liverpool and what they've been able to do this season. They just look incredible. So for me, I like the under in this game, and it doesn't actually start with Liverpool's defense, which is obviously important. I'll get to that in a minute, but rather with how I think Villarreal and Emery are going to approach this game, and that's the same manner they did against Bayern. Defense, 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 wait for your opportunity to strike. Fortunately, that came early in that first leg versus Bayern Munich, and they were able to really play that game out the rest of the way. But everybody on their planet knew what their approach was going to be in leg two. But let's be honest, Liverpool's defense is leaps and bounds better than Bayern's. And I find it very unlikely that the Reds' defense makes many mistakes, if any mistakes, to give Villarreal any chances for a team that's not going to be looking for them. Of course, Liverpool's defense, they are second in the Premier League. They allow just 0.89 expected goals per game. That drops to a ridiculously low 0.62 at home. In terms of actual goals, Liverpool have kept 11 clean sheets at home in 16 Premier League matches this year. This is the best league in the world. Over their last 12 home matches, they've been particularly good, keeping 10 clean sheets at home and allowing just 2 goals, including now 5 straight clean sheets after their 2-0 win over Everton this past weekend. So, as I mentioned, Emery, he's proven to be a fantastic manager in knockout soccer, and I believe his approach is the reason I'm taking the under here. And the big factor to me is that I think they're just going to come in here. I don't think they're going to look to score. I think their goal is to get out of here with as little as damage as possible. And that's going to be to try to stop Liverpool. If they leave here down 1-0, something like that, they're going to consider that a pretty dang good victory. So I was looking at both teams to score no as well. It's priced a little higher, about -130, -135. So I think that's a decent option in case maybe Liverpool wins this thing 3-0. But I think under 3 goals is pretty safe. It's a little cheaper, -115 or so right now. So either of those options are pretty good, but I don't think we're going to see a lot of goals in this match.
Nick Borrman of WagerTalk.com. Pavlos, you look at this game and you look at even the exact score markets, and we talk about it on a lot of the shows. Nick mentioned that the 2-0 result is actually the lowest price on the board at plus 550, with the 1-0 being plus 650 and then 3-0 being 750. Those seem to be the 3 popular ones, or the 3 lowest betting ones. And I tend to agree. I think Villarreal comes here looking to stifle this Liverpool squad. Now, whether they can do it or not remains to be seen. But I think Atletico laid the groundwork for how you shut down a team as skilled and as talented as Liverpool is. Can Unai Emery do the same thing?
Yeah, I believe you play Liverpool and you play at Liverpool in the first leg. So usually, and especially with Unai Emery at the bench, usually teams in such a position, they try to be very careful at the first leg. It doesn't matter if you score goals, because the away goals rule is no longer in effect. So now what the teams do is try to have a manageable result in the first leg, and then the second leg is at home. It's a totally different situation. Maybe they did exactly that with Bayern Munich. They short-circuited the entire Bayern offense in both matches. I mean, conceding just 1 goal to Bayern Munich is impressive, to say the least. And I think that's probably going to be the same mindset by Unai Emery and the whole Villarreal squad here. Just even if we lose, try to make it a manageable loss, like 1-0, 2-0. A 0-0 is fantastic result. A 1-1, even better. So I totally agree with the under here. Actually, this is my prediction as well. I just don't see a lot of goals. I was looking at the last time that Villarreal conceded, 3 goals. They've only conceded 3 goals twice this season, against Barcelona and against Cadiz, but that was way back. That was in 2021. So we should expect, and especially on the road, they're really, really careful on the road, this Villarreal side, especially in European matches. So I believe that it's going to be a very, they're going to try to destroy the tempo. After all, I mean, Liverpool, I've been trying to see what's going on with Liverpool lately. Instead of slowing down, they've ramped up the offense. They concede goals now. Yes, of course, they conceded them to Benfica in a quite indifferent match, and then to Manchester City. But still, they conceded a lot of goals lately, and most of their matches went over the total. So I would expect at some point, at this point in the season, with a lot of crucial matches coming up, maybe they should slow down at some point, right? At least, that's what I thought. But then you see their last 5 or 6 matches, and they have over 3.5 goals at least. Except the one against Everton of the weekend. But this could be a sign that Liverpool are slowing down. And I totally believe that there's going to be a low-scoring match. Especially if Villarreal somehow get on the score sheet first, then it's going to be like a park the bus type of situation. So I'm not so sure about the both teams to score no, which is also a good bet here. I mean, Villarreal would seriously try to keep Liverpool at bay, but I think the under 3 goals is a very safe bet here. I mean, worst case scenario, it should be a push in the form of a 2-1 Liverpool win, or even a 3-0 if things go wrong for Villarreal. But I think the under 3 goals is a really, really safe bet here.
Yeah, Pavlos, I'm going to go right back to you on this one because we always talk about props on the show as well too. Mm-hmm. And when you look at this game, you just have to look at this past weekend and what a team that was hell-bent on just trying to get a point did with Liverpool. It was probably one of the most frustrating games to watch if you're a Liverpool fan in that Merseyside derby with Everton coming in. And they just slowed the game in the first half to an absolute crawl, players on the ground. I think the ball was in play, and I think I tweeted it out, maybe 17, 18 minutes of the 45 minutes. There was no flow to that game. Liverpool eventually scored and got a late second goal for a 2-0 win. But you look at that, and then you look at some of the numbers within it. Liverpool 13 to 1 corner kick advantage. And then you just wonder about this Villarreal team, and do they do the same thing that they did against Bayern Munich, where they just try and absorb as much pressure as possible? And you look at the corner kicks for this game, Liverpool, the handicap is -4. Is that something you would consider taking? Because I think I'm going to take it. Figuring Liverpool will have a majority of the player with Villarreal trying to absorb the pressure. They're probably going to get quite a few corner kicks in this game, and the handicap of -4 might not be a bad way to go.
-4. Listen, I don't usually corner kicks. I used to play them and bet on them a lot, but it's kind of an unstable situation because you have the under in corners, and then one corner can lead to 3 corner kicks, consecutive ones. So it's not really my thing, but I would twist it around a little bit and maybe say that if Villarreal can hold out for the first half, the draw at halftime is at +150, which is really, really great. And maybe the under 1.25 goal is also something to consider, in the sense that Villarreal would try to slow this thing down. But as far as corner kicks, to be honest, and I'm always honest with you guys, I haven't looked at all corners, in this match. So I'll take your word for it. But I just see overall a very low-scoring match. So if you don't like the under 3, maybe you can take the under 1.25 goal in the first half, which is nice, or maybe the under 1 goal in the first half, which is also nice. I just don't see a lot of goals here. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I've given you the corner kicks. You might want to mark that one down. That might pay for your flight to Vegas in November for the World Cup.
Okay. Okay.
We will see. We will see on Wednesday, or at the end of Wednesday's game from Anfield, whether that corner kick prop does come in. Guys, let's look at the third game. This one goes on Thursday. This is Europa League semifinal, leg 1. West Ham -106 at home. The draw is +240, and Eintracht Frankfurt +300 in this one. I look at this game, and both these sides are all in on this competition. I think they've pretty much put their domestic league seasons aside here. West Ham do not have a shot in my eyes at a top 4 spot in a Champions League, nor do obviously Frankfurt. So getting into the finals and winning the finals is the route to the Champions League next season for both these teams. And you look at how they got there. Frankfurt, they've been impressive, beating Real Betis and then Barcelona in the last round. But you can honestly say that the Hammers have been equally impressive, beating Sevilla and then Lyon, going to Paris and beating our friends and beating Lyon 3-0 there. You know, I've looked at this game. I've looked at the angles on this game, and I still cannot come up with a winner in this game. But I'm going to look at a different market here. I'm going to look at the BTTS market, which is both teams to score in this game. And while through the 4 rounds for West Ham, both teams to score has only occurred once in their 4 games through the last 2 rounds. It's happened in every single game for Frankfurt. And I think they're coming here to score a goal. I think they're coming here to get a result and a favorable one before they head back to Germany for leg 2 next week. So I'm going to go with both teams to score here. That price is minus 134. And I'll look for one of those 1-1 type results here in this one, because I can't figure out a total as well on this one. Both teams to score minus 134 is my lean in this game. Kev, over to you for your thoughts.
I think, at least to me, Carmine, probably to everybody, Frankfurt pulled off, one of the shocks of this year's entire UEFA fixture list, Champions League, Europa League, whatever, possibly over the last few years. I don't think anyone expected them to overturn Barcelona like they did in the last round, progress through from that tie. But, you got to, tip your hat to them. They were absolutely sensational, especially in the game in Barcelona. Took their chances extremely well, kind of weathered that initial storm. And this could well be a very dangerous side moving forward in this competition because of it. There's just no way. I'll agree with you from the start. It is a tricky game to bet. But there's no way I could back West Ham here, going in as favourites here at even money in this game. First European semi-final in well over 40 years. I think it was 75, 76 for the Hammers since they were in the, a big semi-final in Europe. So, the pressure will be absolutely immense inside the London Stadium on Thursday night. We've already seen their captain, Mark Noble, break down in tears after overcoming Sevilla. His replacement with the armband for this game, Declan Rice, he can't even decide what country he wants to play for. So, it's not a big lane by any stretch for me. But, if I'm playing this one, I'm going to look to take the plus half a goal with Frankfurt here, as I can see West Ham bottling this game. And Frankfurt and no mugs. Frankfurt's second most goals on the road in the Europa League. Second most goals from open play in the Europa League as well. They're the only unbeaten team still left in this competition as well, going all the way back to the group stage. So, yeah, I'm not going to complicate this one too much. Give me Frankfurt plus a half a goal here on Thursday night against West Ham.
All right, Kevin Dolan. Kev, listen, I agree with you. I just couldn't make a case for taking the West Ham. They've had a great competition. I just can't make a case for laying a goal, just a half a goal, just the way that Frankfurt's been playing. And as you said, and I echo those thoughts, everyone thought Frankfurt going to Barcelona for leg 2, they were likely going to get the doors blown off, and they did the exact opposite with every goal they scored. I think people were just in awe of what was going on. So I can see them coming, and if they weren't afraid of going to Camp Nou and playing Barcelona, they're not. I don't think they're afraid of going to West Ham to face the Hammers in this one. So we'll see what happens on Thursday with that one. Guys, it's Tuesday, so obviously it is $2 Tuesdays at WagerTalk and Sportsmemo. $2 Tuesdays is where you can get a featured cappers plays for only $2. These are plays that normally go for $25 or $35 and have some great promos within them. Over at WagerTalk, it's Tony Finn. You can get his play and some great promos for only $2. And at SportsMemo, it's the trio. Once again, you can get 3 cappers for $5. It is the gold sheet. You can get the gold sheet. You can get Kevin Thomas, and you can get Dion D'Amico. All 3 of them for only $5. I met Dion and her husband Joe in Vegas during the Puck Time meet and greet Two absolutely fantastic people, let me tell you. Looking forward to seeing them and again for the next Wager Talk meet and greet in August. So again, you can get those plays for only $2 each, or all three cappers for $5 at Sports Memo and Tony Finn at Wager Talk. All right, guys, let's head into the final game. This is a Europa League conference game and a semifinal leg one. Leicester City and Roma. Let's have a look at the numbers on this one. Leicester City plus 120 at home. The draws plus 220. Roma plus 240. Nick, I'm going to go to you first on this one. Jose Mourinho doing a great job with Roma this season. It doesn't look like they're going to make it into the top four in Serie A. That it's sort of thinning out at the top there, but still a very good season for this Roma team, and they seem to love Jose. Can he go to Leicester and get a result in leg one?
Maybe. I'm not going to look at the result in this one as far as sides go. I'm just going to look at, really not trusting either one of these teams defensively. I think both teams to score is a very likely situation here, which is about minus 135 right now. I mean, there's so many trends pointing to that. So, first reaction, you kind of mentioned in the last breakdown, these teams, their only path to any European qualification for next year is probably by winning this competition. So, the first thing I think about when putting all your eggs in this basket is, you're going to play very good defense and maybe this thing is very cautious and blah, blah, blah. But I don't think that's going to be the case. And I don't trust either one of those teams to do that. Leicester, 50 matches so far this year in all competitions. They've kept just 10 clean sheets, so only 20% of the time. By the same token, Roma have been held scoreless only 6 times in 48 matches this year, with 4 of those matches coming against Inter, Napoli, and Juve, which obviously are much better defensive teams than Leicester is. On the flip side, Roma have actually kept a decent amount of clean sheets this year, 18, in fact, on the season, but only 6 have come away from home, and none of those games were against any quality opponents. I mean, their list of opponents they held scoreless on the road includes Sampdoria, Vitesse, Spezia, Genoa, and Zoria. Luhansk, I think is their last name, and Salernitana. So, I mean, none of those teams are any quality, so I don't see them stopping Leicester here. Leicester have been held scoreless just 8 times this year in 50 games, and never in back-to-back games. And of course, they're coming off a 0-0 draw over the weekend against Aston Villa. So a lot of trends just pointing to both teams getting on the board here. 1-1 could very well be the way this thing finishes. 2-1 either way, 3-1 either way. I don't know. Instead of just taking the over, I just thought this thing is going to see both teams find a way to get on the board, and then maybe they'll play it out at that point to leg 2. But minus 135, I think, is a decent price here. Both teams to score is how I'm going to attack this one.
All right, Nick Borrman of WagerTalk.com. Pavlos, give me your thoughts on this game. The more I look at it, and I'm looking at the prices, I really want to take, as far as advancing to the final, I really want to take Roma in this one. And it's not an Italian bias because we're basically programmed not to like the other teams or support the other teams. But, in looking at this price and you look at the teams to qualify, Roma's minus 106 in this one. And Mourinho would love nothing better than to bring a trophy to Roma. He'll be looked at, even though it's not a Serie A trophy, even though it's not a Champions League trophy, any trophy that he brings to this team, and he's going to be looked upon as a god in Roma, at least for another year. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, true. I think the Europa Conference League is the only the only international tournament that is missing from his trophy case, because he won the Champions League with Porto and Inter, I believe. He won another Europa League. So I think the Europa Conference League is the one that is missing. So, what a guy Mourinho is. Of course, he wants that title, become the first ever to have all 3, blah, blah, blah. But slight objection about Leicester's defense, because, yes, the defense has been terrible all season. Yes, no doubt about that. But the problem is that they had a lot of injuries to defenders. I mean, the right back, Pereira, has been on and off. Castagne, who they brought, was again on and off. Fofana, who was their marquee signing for last season. Trust me, I know. I have him in my fantasy team. He's a great defender. He was a huge upgrade for this Leicester side, but he suffered, I think, a broken leg last year, so he was out for most of the year. Now that he's back, this Leicester side kind of is better defensively, just a bit better. I mean, they used to concede 2 and 3 goals. Now they just concede 1. So, and as for this Roma side, guys, I gotta be honest with you. I've tried backing them a few times this season. They burned me. I tried fading them. They burned me again. So I just let it alone. I just put it in my black book along with Marseille and not Cole. I took them out of my black book because they actually gave me some money over the weekend. It was a best bet. So yeah, in this match, I believe we're gonna see a careful match. Mourinho has a sneaky way of he's a very smart guy, a very talented coach. So he knows that Leicester can be really they can explode in a second. The problem with Leicester is the fact that Vardy has also been injured a lot. He doesn't have a lot of playing time. I think he was used for just 30 minutes, just 20 minutes over the weekend against Aston Villa. Of course, Patson Daka was phenomenal in the group stage, but he's been kind of quiet lately. So all things considered, I believe that we'll see a very I don't want to say scared match. I'm going to say careful match. Between these two sides, so I kind of like the under 2.5 goals at -120. But what I like even more is the under 1 goal in the first half, which I believe that worst case scenario it's a push. We saw it against PSV against Leicester. They just scored one goal. I think it was 1 goal in the first half. Yeah, just 1 goal. The reverse fixture: Leicester versus PSV at home, goalless draw. Rennes at Leicester at Rennes, just 1 goal in the first half. Rennes at Leicester, again just 1 goal in the first half. So I believe that there is a maximum of 1 goal in the first half. So under one goal in the first half, -125.
All right, Pavlos, if you win any longer there, you'd be a guest on Puck Time at the top of the hour. But with that said, listen, I think I speak for the other three of us on the panel. Next time you're thinking of taking the Roma game, if you could let us know, because if you're not winning on them and you're not winning going against them, I want to know about it, man. We like money here as well too. All joking aside, guys, let's quickly get into our best bet segment on the show, and then we've got to close it out. Kev, I'm going to go to you first on this one. You're taking us to Spain. Tell us what you got.
Yeah, I like Cadiz on Friday night. Carmine catching +1 goal over in Spain against Sevilla. This is a team of Cadiz who I really like betting on right now. They cashed me last week against Barcelona. I've had a few other plays on them as well previous to that. And it's just the value we're getting on them right now. People look at that league table, see where they are. They're like, oh, this team must be rubbish. But this team's completely different since January, since Sergio took over. He's really added a spine to this team. They rank top half of the league in overall road form. They average the fewest expected goals against it of any team in the league since he took charge as well. So getting +1 against Sevilla, I like that Friday night La Liga best bet.
All right, Kevin Dolan with a game in La Liga. Nick, you're going North America in an MLS game. Tell us what you got.
Yeah, I've been red hot there, so we'll stick there. Battle of Texas, looking to take an Austin FC +1/4 goal on the road at Houston. Austin catching the league by storm. They sit second in the West, 5-2-1 record, 20-7 goal differential, won 3 straight matches. Houston has a decent record, 3-3-2, 11-9 goal differential, but they really haven't proven themselves yet, as their 3 wins have all come against some of the worst teams in the league: Miami, San Jose, Vancouver. The best of which Miami has a -0.31 expected goal differential. So they haven't proven anything as far as beating quality. Austin does have some similar wins against crap teams, Miami, Vancouver, and Cincinnati, but they've also beaten a solid Minnesota team and won on the road recently at DC United. Austin currently +0.49 expected goal differential. Houston come in -0.19. Houston are much better usually at home than on the road. They're unbeaten in 5 matches, but 3 of those have been draws so far, which obviously cashes this ticket. So I'll keep it simple. Take the quarter of a goal head start on Austin, on the team that I think is playing better at the moment.
All right, Nick Borrman of WagerTalk.com. Austin's a play. Pavlos, you're taking us to Germany in a Bundesliga play. Tell us what you got.
Yeah, I'm going to take the matches Wolfsburg at Stuttgart, and I'm going to take the over 1.5 team total for Stuttgart. They're now sitting at the Wait. They're sitting at the 16th spot of the Bundesliga with 28 points, 4 points below the red line. So they're dying for points right now. Wolfsburg, one of my favorite teams. I've been watching them all season. They've been terrible this season, especially their defense. Really weird results. They lose 4-2. They beat Armenia by 4-0. Then they lose to Dortmund 6-1. Then they beat Mainz 5-0. One thing's for certain, their defense is terrible, especially on the road. They have conceded multiple goals against most of the teams that they've played against. And now the Stuttgart side has been really unlucky lately. They haven't scored a goal in their last 3, but they create a lot of chances. They create a lot of shots, and some of these results are really not doing them any favors. So they now return home. They need points against a Wolfsburg side that is sitting at the middle of the league table with nowhere to go. The motive is really huge for Stuttgart here. So maybe they'll concede because their defense is not that good. So I believe that they're going to need to score at least twice in order to get a win here. So I like Stuttgart over 1.5 team totals at -102.
There you go, from Pavlos Laguretos of Sports Memo, 18 total. Guys, I'm going to go to the EPL on mine. I'm going to go to a Sunday game, and I am going to look to fade this West Ham team that we talked about earlier with Arsenal. I'm going to take Arsenal -134 in this one. I think the fact that this game is sandwiched between what are two of the biggest games that West Ham is going to play all season long, trying to get into the finals of the Europa League and a chance to get into Champions League next season. I'm not sure we're going to see their complete starting 11 on the weekend. A couple players may be rested in advance. And we saw Arsenal go into Chelsea, and what they did to them, I think they surprised everyone in that one. So I'm going to take Arsenal -134 as our show best bet. Guys, listen, thanks for tuning in. We'll be back next Tuesday with some more Champions League, Europa League, and Europa League Conference games for myself, Nick Borrman, Kevin Dolan, and Pavlos Laguretos. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next Tuesday at 10 a.m.
Tuesdays is known as $2 Tuesdays at WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo.com, where you can get the hottest handicappers' best bet or daily package for only $2.